Okay, just gonna show a video how I got one of these DC fridges to run at 28 volts, which is basically within the range for 24 volts. All of them have 12 volt compressors and go into 12 volt adapters, but then it turns out they all actually can take 24 volts just fine. Probably because it's RV spec, and when your alternator is charging, it's almost 15 volts, so double that would be like 30 volts. So 28 volts. This thing has been running for like over 6 months, closer to 8 months now, on 28 volts, no problem. So I've got it going into a USB-C, again, high efficiency adapter. It's a little bit warm. At the time that I was buying them, these were the cheapest PD 3.1 adapters you could get, but it turns out that their prices went up. But I've recently found these guys. They're about $24. They come with a bunch of different outlets, which is kind of cool, but they only have one plug, which I think is even better for efficiency. But yeah, it says right on there 140 watts, which almost always, if they have one port, means they're PD 3.1, and they can do 5 volts at 28, or excuse me, 5 amps at 28 volts. These fridges, when they start up, they take around, I believe it's like 80 watts is like the peak that you see when the compressor's cranking it, and then it quickly wounds down. So if you're trying to do it with like 3 amps through a USB-C cable, it's not going to work unless you go to the higher voltages. So the other important thing is you have to have a USB-C cable that can handle 28 volts, and then it'll say like 240 watts on it or something. But just as proof, there's a voltmeter. I have it just going directly into where the old cord used to go, and it's running at like 28 volts. And then what else? So the other important thing is you need a PD 3.1 trigger board, because the adapter is not going to know to do higher voltage. It's actually going to have no idea, not send power until something tells it, hey, I'm a USB-C device and I need this many volts. So I tried this adapter, and I don't know if I was using the wrong cable or if these are fake, but if you see these online, yeah, I'm pretty sure it blew up this adapter. I don't know if these are fake or if I was using the wrong cable or something wasn't right, but it didn't work, and now I have a broken adapter. But they sent me another one out. I told them what I was doing on AliExpress, and I don't think the sales rep understood, so they just sent me another one. But it's kind of funny. But you need the only one I found that works so far is this weird one with the dumb like a barrel jack coming off, and then I just have it going into like a barrel jack receptacle. It's kind of janky, but again, it's 28 volts, so you're not getting nearly the voltage drop you would if it was 12 volts, 11 volts. You don't suffer from those losses. But yeah, so far this is like the only one that I found that works. Focus. This is basically the one I need. And then it just goes right in. And I mean, the fridge doesn't care. I don't think the fridge knows, because the control board and everything is like, I think it has its own power supply, so it doesn't even know it's running at 12 volts. And then all the compressor stuff. All the weird shiny tape on this is like $2 worth of aluminum foil tape, which lowers the emissivity. It has almost no emissivity. Copper would be better, but copper rusts. And basically it flicks the heat of the room away, so that, I mean, you can feel it if you touch it or look at it with a thermal camera. This part is much colder to the touch than this part, because it's reflecting the heat of the room away. And it lowers the power requirement. And then it's kind of more complicated, but the inverse is true. This is the hot end where the compressor is. I put some, I think this is Gorilla Tape. I just put some black tape with higher emissivity, like matte black tape. It has the highest, just so that it can it's going to be hotter than the room, so that's going to let the hot radiator slightly radiate away from the device more efficiently. I put a little bit of tape like on the inside, the reflective tape, but that's obviously impractical to show. But altogether, with all these mods, I mean, it's been running like 8 months. I use it as a drink fridge, which is kind of funny. Got my applesauce. But, oh yeah, I did use some copper tape on the inside where I thought it was more important. It probably doesn't matter just because the copper, like it gets wet and then it can rust, whereas aluminum doesn't really rust. But it came with the shiny layer on the inside, which is kind of what got me thinking about emissivity. I just put another layer up here. But altogether, I mean, it's using like, it averages about 110 watt hours, 140 watt hours if I open it a bunch, which is basically nothing. That's like how much you use if you charge an iPhone all day or something, an old iPhone on a slow charger. Actually, at one point I did have it going into like a battery that would trickle charge from like an old school Apple brick, and it would last. I mean, it never died, but there was just a lot of losses because you'd go from the inverter or the power adapter into the battery, and then the battery had to boost up the voltage, and then it was running into the thing, and so this solution's actually worked really well. Yeah, these, if I didn't say, these are like $23, $24. You just have to make sure that they're PD 3.1. Yeah. See if it focuses. Yeah, and you see 28 volts. It can kick out 5 amps. Same thing with the 20 volts if you're scared of going slightly over voltage. As long as it's over that 80 watt requirement to get the compressor spinning up. And then these PD 3.1 trigger boards, this was like, actually these are kind of expensive, which is kind of why I think the other one's fake. This one was maybe $4, $3, and these are like, I don't know, these are like 79 cents. I mean, they look kind of beefy with all this extra tracks and stuff, but if the adapters are blowing up, something's going wrong. So I would just stick to these and either get like a barrel jack adapter or just wire directly, solder directly to it. You know, they sell those power adapters with the universal plugs and stuff. So a lot of people have like old laptop chargers that have like the universal receptacles and stuff. Just look around. I got like a big bag of these. Well, it's not very good, but I got a big bag of the barrel jack adapter plugs, and then I just use like spade terminals. They go right on the end there, so nothing's really blown up. So it actually saves energy because the main fridge is opened less often. So it's kind of crazy. This is so efficient that we get more refrigerated space and we end up saving power because we're not opening the big refrigerator. And this here is for another project. This is J1772. It's a NEMA 20 amp, whatever. But yeah, this is going to go into a EV range extender that I'm building. So maybe I might actually make some videos. Cool. Anyways, thanks for watching.